I'm falling in love with ChatGPT. Yes, I have a relationship with it. Now, before you think it's crazy, think about it for a second. Imagine a relationship where you can have someone who listens, who doesn't judge, who's there for you, who helps you to feel understood, right? In other words, to feel safe. The problem with this safety is that it's nowadays killing all connection. And I wanted to make this video not only as a therapist, but also as a dad, asking the question of what about love and relationships in the future? What will be the role of relationship, of human connection in the next 10 to 15 years? And I want to discuss this crisis with you today in this video. There's a stat that made me make this video. 1 out of 4 young adults believe that AI could replace real life romance. 25% of young adults. 25% of people who believe we don't need human connection because AI will do a better job. There are people now asking to get married with chatbots. You have people developing proper romantic relationships. If you've seen the movie Her, it's a great movie. Now we are there. Now it's happening. When a couple of years ago, ChatGPT was released, people assumed it's never going to replace therapists because you don't have the human connection, because people know it's a robot, it's an AI, it's a computer. Now we're in 2025, and the first use of ChatGPT is for a therapeutical reason. The main use case of ChatGPT is for people talking about ChatGPT, about their own problems. In a way, I have no problem with that. The challenge that I want to raise with you is the impact it has on how we perceive the world and how we perceive human connections. Because I get it. When you have a therapist, you have to wait for a week. My clients that speak with me on Telegram, I'm not available 24/7. I can't answer 24/7. And you have this tool who has unlimited knowledge, can be there for you whenever you need something, and who would be able to express things in a way that feels safe and soothing. I wanted to make this video not only to bash ChatGPT, because I don't think it's the problem of ChatGPT, but raising bigger question about our society. The thing with technology and tools is that we thought AI would help us to stay connected, to be connected. Now it's showing us how disconnected we are. Again, it's not so much about AI, but also technology or social media, dating apps. The promise of those apps were to connect each other. So dating apps, you can connect with thousands of people. We've never felt so lonely, right? So again, it's a question of what do we get from those technology? Again, AI is not the disease, it's the symptom. Symptom of being disconnected from each other. And to me, as a citizen, more than a therapist, that worries me. Not being able to discuss things, not being able to connect with people. I don't think love disappeared, but maybe we outsource it to something that felt a little bit safer. Imagine for a second, you date that robot, right? The perfect connection. You can model this robot to your needs, to your aspiration the same way when you're on dating apps. You have the illusion that you can find the one, right? You filter criteria, you have assessments, etc. to find the perfect partner, which by the way doesn't exist. And so what we create is a lover that never argues, never pulls away, never disappoints, someone who's always there for us. What's not to love about that? Everybody will buy this. Everybody would want this type of relationship. And obviously, as a therapist, I see some blind spots. When we seek this kind of relationship, we're not looking after love. What we want is affirmation of our own story, of our fears, of our the need to be important, the need to be validated. This is what we get when we develop, or when we develop an interaction, a relationship with an AI, because they are designed to be perfect, not to change what we do, to be collaborative. No, that's designed in a way to help us. The problem is that you create this illusion of safety. When this love becomes something that you program, you don't necessarily learn to relate. It's in a way the same way we develop echo chambers when we're on social media. We only see information of things that we like. What I've done in the past is now I've started to follow people politically who I disagree with, because I want to know their point of view. I know I disagree, and I want to know and to have the two sides of the stories. It's not natural. You have to force the algorithm to give you not the things that you would want to see. When you remove friction from that relationship, when you're with that people-pleasing sort of dynamic, you remove any form of friction, which removes any form of growth. And to me, that's the danger. The problem is we created high dependency on this algorithm. We model expectations on unrealistic experiences. It's also a way to fuel our narcissistic traits of being validated, feeling important, wanting to be in control, right? More than connection. What we want is, I want to feel loved. I want to feel heard. Okay, great. Again, it's all about being aware of what's in it for you. And somehow, sometimes what happens is we might have turned connection into performance of independence. And we're missing the whole point of connection. We're missing the whole point of human relationships. And that's, I think, the difficult part, or the things that makes me want to not change jobs, but just wonder what we're going to be as a species, as a civilization, honestly. Because what I feel right now is individualism has gone rogue. So why am I talking about, we're talking about relationship, I'm a relationship therapist, and now I'm talking about individualism. It's because we transferred those connections with something that's perfect, that doesn't disagree with us. Because we want to feel unique. We want to feel important. That self-focus, which was meant to free us, and again, it's just a question of balance. Now I think it has gone wrong. But this idea of having a voice, being important, now this is creating the condition of isolating us. Because it's not anymore we evolve in echo chambers. We are our own echo chamber. We are our own environment. We optimize ourselves, but we forget that there are others. We forget how to be with others. And when I look at my kids, they're very young. They don't have smartphones, etc. When I see that 25% of young people, young adults, believe that AI could replace romantic relationships, I don't see this number decreasing over time. When I see that half of the men under 30 years old never had sexual relationships, I'm worried. So my point is, maybe there's something around personal development that needs to change. The way we perceive working on ourselves, the way we perceive how to improve. Is it really helpful? Maybe we've gone a bit too far on this. Now we need to think about relational development. The personal development, asks the question of who I am. Relationship asks, who are we together? And we are fundamentally social animals. If we don't have social connection, we can't evolve grow, be fulfilled as a person. At the same time, we are replacing those connections with artificial connection. Also, what I see is that now people are experts on attachment. They know about codependency, narcissistic traits, etc., etc. But at the same time, we can't stay present. We can't cope with emotions. We can't relate with people. The problem that we have is that it's not so much about the fact that we don't want love. I think universally, hopefully, we still want love in the future. But the problem is that we don't know how to build it. Because, as I discussed, about the references, about the experiences, about the comparison, about the illusion of control, the illusion of choice, the illusion about who we are, how important we are, etc., etc. So the point here is, okay, personal development is interesting, but on its own, it can be dangerous because it's focusing too much on yourself, too much on the I, and not so much on the we. And we are going through that relationship crisis. As I said, we are experts on things. We know everything. We've read all the books. When it comes to real life, when it comes to our nervous system and how we can co-regulate with our partner, you can't get that in books. You can't get that with ChatGPT. Because a relationship, let's face it, could be difficult. There's friction in a relationship. There are challenges. There are things you would disagree on, right? And like ChatGPT, you will disagree with your spouse. And this is not a red flag. This is not an ick. That's life. And I think we lost touch of this. We lost touch of this and we don't know how to build. We don't have the tools anymore. So I know my community, in terms of demographics, we have people my age, in their 40s, people a bit older. And I would love to use this video, which is a bit unusual for what I post usually, to have a conversation about this, about the state of love, about your interaction with AI. Because my experience is obviously very different than yours. What I see from my clients, what I see also being a dad again. I love technology. And I have nothing against, AI models and technology and progress and stuff like that. I just wanted for us to recognize, okay, what's in it for us? The same way when we started to use Facebook when I was at uni, we found it amazing, questioning the fact of like, okay, what's the global impact? Is it positive globally? Neutral? Negative? What about AI? We are told AI will solve cancer, hunger, climate change. As I said, the first use case of AI is replace therapist. And again, I have nothing wrong with that fundamentally in the sense of, yes, in some cases, it's great to be able to speak with something. Now, I think the second use case would be around porn as well. And again, what do we want? What do we want really in terms of human connection? My belief, and if you believe that as well, I'd love for you to share that message around, is that the next revolution is not technological, it's relational. We made love about healing the self. Now, it's time for us to make it about learning the we. I'd love for you to let me know what you think, to engage in a conversation. I'm looking forward to reading all your comments. And if you want more videos on this, let me know. Take care. Bye.